What are signs of depression that aren't talked about? Having no energy to clean the house, shower, change out of the same pajamas I've worn for weeks. Not leaving the house other than to go to the grocery store, everything here is closed anyway. I feel nothing. I'm on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication, but so far they are not working. I'm newly married and thank God he doesn't care if I look crazy because I don't brush my hair or shower as often as I should. I just feel nothing. Walking slowly. When I'm super depressed I can't walk at a normal pace, embarrassed smiley face. I feel like as children we just cannot wait to grow up. We can't wait until we can start making decisions for ourselves. Then as we slowly head on into adulthood and realize that the world we live in, especially in first world countries, are so routine that it just feels repetitive. This constant repetition becomes draining as we yearn for something more deep down. Like a way to break out of it, but because we're so tired and the process of breaking out can seem so difficult in our heads, we just never end up executing. At some point in this cycle you may end up becoming dangerously self-aware of your place in the universe and realize that in the grand scheme of things we're extremely insignificant, and the idea that one is special is subjective with no real proof. It really is a struggle, man. Sometimes I want to do very productive things, but I feel like I make excuses. Like, oh, I still don't have that computer desk I need to set up my laptop so I can learn this new thing. Or study up on this new thing. When I know full well the dining room table is a fine alternative until I do get a proper setup. Deep down I probably feel like, why? What's the point of this all? The cycle of I'll do it once I feel better, I'll feel better once I do it. This applies to anything, even the most simple tasks. For me it is sometimes very hard to get out of bed in the morning because all I can think of is that I have to make breakfast, and it feels like such an impossible task. I break out in pimples, especially on my scalp, and get infected cysts on my back. Has happened several times at the beginning of episodes. Not sure, but messy room. No interest in cleaning, no interest in dating. Giving away things, watch out for this one. Stumbling over your words, and forgetting the names of things. Destroying your own work. Seriously, how many artists, artisans and overall craftsmen destroy their own creations is crazy. Less showers. Longer sleep. For me, I get really horny, like crawling up the walls horny, but when it's time to have sex I freeze up and have major doubts about myself and think negative things, so I end up not having sex at all. It keeps happening over and over again. I'd give anyone else has this problem while depressed. I was diagnosed with deep depressive disorder. Forcing yourself to function because otherwise you won't move and nothing will get done. There's one called depersonalization and derealization as well. The first is that sometimes, you won't feel like you. You'll feel more like a spectator that's been watching somebody else's life, which can really take out the importance of literally anything in your life. The other is similar in feeling that none of any of this is real. Now, these sound like complex thoughts, but what's important to know is that they aren't some complex cognitive thought process, but rather a single feeling. You don't reason yourself into not feeling like you just simply are not you when this happens. And it compounds with lack of ability to feel happiness and motivation. It makes it super easy to 3D your life by devaluing it so much. Using Reddit. School. Depersonalization. Feeling outside of yourself, like you are a spectator in your own life. Sighing. Like, constant exhausted sighing without even realizing I'm doing it. That's usually my first sign that my mental health is starting to take a nosedive. The moment you wake up and know you slept the night before and yet you feel like you never slept and you just have absolutely no energy to get up, to eat, shower, pee, use the bathroom, anything. You don't even have the energy or even care to breath. You just don't want to exist. It takes everything you have in you to get up and get out of bed, and when you do, you are absolutely worn out and worn down and have no energy and feel like a dead car battery that won't start. You just do the bare minimum you can just to try to get by. There are days where this all happens to me and I lay there in bed holding my urine as long as I can till I can't hold it anymore and have to get out of bed. There's days where I can't do anything. When I try I am so worn down that just moving is so exhausting. When that happens I can go days without a shower because of it. Don't care if I brush my teeth even if it's been a week. Just don't have the energy and it's the last thing on my mind and last thing I care about. Why bother? Doesn't matter. Nothing does. Type of feeling. It isn't laziness or just being bummed out. It is a huge sign of depression that many others say is just laziness. Birth. Depression would be reduced to 0% if there were no more births, just think about it. Memory loss. Sorry I forgot about your kid's birthday, Sharon. I'm bummed out about it too. Macron__/Macron. Sleep problems, insomnia and sleeping way too much. Either way you cannot regulate your sleep cycle. You cannot get on a schedule eating the wrong things. Eating too much. Having no appetite and not eating at all. With those two obstacles it's very hard to get healthy as all the experts try to tell you to do when struggling with depression. The cycle of not being motivated to do anything and then feeling guilty but still not doing anything. A drop in hygiene standards, although not all the time, as a surprising amount of people are just soap dodgers. If someone suddenly lets their standards of hygiene drop, it could be a sign, as most depressed people stop caring for their body, which includes cleaning themselves. Feeling like you are never going to get out of the situation, vicious anxiety I guess, but those two are like brothers. Saying I'm tired, it can mean that they are tired, but look for the circumstances. If you know they have had an uneventful or at the very least non-draining day, chances are that I'm tired actually means I'm tired of life and am losing motivation to actually be myself. Simple words that we often use to make people back off from questioning us, are actually a sign that we're hurting, and even though we are tired it's for more dangerous reasons. Anger. I'm almost constantly irritated by something, and the more I try to push it down or brush it off saying it's not a big deal, the bigger the eventual explosion is. When I have tons of games on my PC, but I'm not interested in any of it, I just stare at my desktop. Being altruistic and never getting some love can get you really down. You can look happy on the outside, but you in private you are just thinking about how sad you are. Mood swings. A single word or action can make or ruin my mood/day. Multiple times. Losing interest in things you once loved. I can't hardly even play Halo or anything anymore without feeling low, and I'm constantly going through my library trying to find something to play. Lack of good hygiene. This can be as simple as just not putting as much effort into having good hygiene to not showering, brushing hair or teeth, etc. Change in style/personality. Sometimes people can change into different people when struggling with depression. They can seem overly sad, bored, angry, and tired. But there are also times where people can change in better ways. They may seem more confident than normal. They're more angry/irritable. As someone who's struggled with depression for several years, sometimes I just get angry about it. A couple of years ago I was angry about everything, the world, school, friends, and family, but mostly myself, because of my struggle. Now I'm not a professional, but this is going off of how I would, and people I knew would behave when struggling with depression. I hope this helped somewhat, and just know, everyone struggles differently. If you know someone who is struggling with depression, the best thing you can do is support them in any way they ask. Even if they want to be left alone, tell them that if they ever change their mind, you're there for them, and their struggles do not change them as a person or make them any lesser. People who frequently articulate coping techniques and actually list off reasons to continue living are countering emotional adversity in real time and require more engagement and support than is obvious, since they seem to be functioning well but may actually be doing the math on whether to hang in there or throw in the towel. Light sensitivity. Anytime I start to struggle with being out in the sun and seeing, I know I'm in a spiral. Sudden change in behavior, even if it's not a bad change. I would be suspicious of a normally open person turning private, but would also worry if a normally introverted person is suddenly seeking out constant company, goes out every night and crams tons of social activities into their schedule. I do the latter. So I know it's one flag nobody ever catches on.